It's 9:15. Welcome back. July 14th will mark 60 years since the Older Americans Act was created.
The act empowers older adults to live independently, reduce poverty and isolation, and also make sure that they have access to essential social and health services.
Organizations like Meals on Wheels have been working for years to help with that independence. And joining us is Meals on Wheels America President and CEO Ellie Hollander. Ellie, thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So let's go all the way back here. When we started the Older Americans Act, we kind of talked about briefly what it was intended to do, but obviously Meals on Wheels is a part of it. So what does the Older Americans Act do, and why should people know about it?
Well, it's landmark legislation. What it was intended to do to create independence and dignity and well-being for older adults. It's still doing that today. It's amazing that it's withstood the test of time. And, you know, some people know Meals on Wheels. It's the most recognizable part of the Older Americans Act. But there are other great programs that are enabling people to live longer in their own homes where they want to be and out of more expensive healthcare settings. Things like transportation to a doctor's office, or if a caregiver needs some respite because they're taking care of a loved one, elder daycare, getting a senior to a senior center so they can enjoy companionship, some good nutritious food and exercise and so forth. So the Older Americans Act is vast, but people don't know a lot about it. It's one of the most understated but most impactful acts of legislation that our country has ever passed.
Well, you know what's interesting? I was looking this morning, not that I've ever looked at this before. I'll just be honest with you here, Ellie, but I was looking at North Carolina health data. I don't typically peruse that every morning when I get into work, but I was curious. One of the things that came out in the next 6 years, by 2031, more people in our state are going to be over the age of 65 than there will be under the age of 18. That's crazy, right? And so when you look at where things are now, 60 years after the passing of this act, what are some of the hurdles? What are some of the issues that our older population is facing right now?
Well, I think you named one of them right there, which is how quickly the senior population is aging, is one of it. And so the population is aged by 217% since the Older Americans Act was enacted, but yet the funding has never kept pace to support that population, nor has it reflected inflation. And as you know, particularly for Meals on Wheels, we're very dependent on two key ingredients, food and fuel. And those have really grown exponentially, but the federal funding for the Older Americans Act, which is the foundational funding, has fallen well behind. And we actually are serving fewer seniors today than we were in the late 1990s, but the population is growing. So this is why I'm celebrating an important Older Americans Act, but I'm also urging the public, your listeners, to take a stand to encourage Congress and the administration to bolster and protect these programs and fund them appropriately so that no one is left behind. Right now, 1 in 3 Meals on Wheels programs has waiting lists of, on average, 4 months for a nutritious meal and a social connection. Nobody should have to wait for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ellie, we were talking the commercial break. The last time that this act was reauthorized was 2020. It's up again. So what are you kind of hearing from lawmakers about getting that reauthorized?
Well, we were so close to the finish line, Annie, at the end of 2024. The Senate had passed it. We were hoping that we would be able to get it. Time ran out, and we weren't able to get it across the finish line, if you will. We'd love to see it reauthorized. There's been a recent push from the Senate to move that along. I think there's just so much going on right on Capitol Hill that it's difficult to know what's the right timing. But we're hopeful that it will continue because it's such an important program. Even if it isn't reauthorized, it's still being funded, and that's important through the continuing resolution. But it shows, you know, a commitment, as President Johnson did when he signed the law into effect in 1965. We'd like to see that continue as soon as possible.
Ellie, for people at home who maybe aren't familiar with Meals on Wheels or the Older Americans Act, give us a human element, because I know when you deliver those meals to seniors living alone there, the smile on their face must be so huge that somebody is still thinking about them. Can you give us a story of just how much it means to people?
Well, yeah, I absolutely can. I mean, that knock on the door, Meals on Wheels, it's so uplifting, not only to the person who's receiving that visit and that nutritious meal that's tailored for them, but also for the volunteer who's getting that experience to know that they're making a difference in someone else's life, that you may be the only person that senior is going to see in a given day or even a given week. But the bringing it to life is, they want to have a conversation. You knock on the door, you come in, you better plan a little bit of time to have a conversation, because most people are lonely and they want to talk to you, and they want to be connected to another human being.
Oh boy, what a great kind of charge to all of us, whether it's your own family members, if they're aging, or a neighbor, someone out there. Find someone where you can be their sunshine on a day like today. Ellie Hollander, President and CEO, Meals on Wheels of America. Ellie, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate the opportunity.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.